right where we discover the true nature of a human being. A human being of what you are is what that is the core thing that matters. And when you get that state and you know yourself as that, you sort of embrace your fellow. You do not look at another person and you be thinking of what tribe he is from, what religion is he coming from, what you'll be thinking along that line. What color does he look like? Who is he? You have all those things coming up your mind because it have been instilled into your brains. It has gone through your gumptions. It's been put in that very soft mechanism that's under your skull. Somehow it has been placed there, and it's been placed between. I'm not too sure whether it's your little brain or your big brain or whichever it is, but it's inside your brain. It's gone into your entire organism. It functions within you to understand things in that manner. Because as minute as you are, and you were brought up to this level of stage, it might be a huge person, it might be a young guy or young girl coming up. It is right there that you have been filled or fed with such information, and not just just speaking out of just anything, but from the information you've been fed with, that gives you the knowledge. The information I have been fed with gives me the knowledge. What I have personally been fed with. Now is the stage for me to look that this is who really I am. Whatever it is that I have picked up information, whichever build up data I have got, is basically a data that came to add up to me to make me what I am. And those data, everybody has got access to those data. That is what made them who they are. And those are where the differences and the struggling is coming from. Because if I'm going to get up and think in the morning and see another fellow and his color is a problem to me, I see another fellow and his religion is a problem to me, I see another fellow and his culture is a problem to me. Not just the culture, religion, or color, is how the person presents himself according to how he's been natured to be. Some people are natured to believe that they are niggers or they are blacks or they are whatever it is, and they stand on. Some of them are brought up to believe they are white. They are white, they are red, they are whatever, and they stand by it. Others are brought up to believe that they are more Christians, and then they stand by to it, and they want to do everything, strive to behave like a Christian, even though they know their failures before them. Others will say, I'm Islamic, and want to present themselves as Muslims as they choose to. Others have a cultural background and say that, okay, I am an Ashanti, so I would like to build my life as an Ashanti, which is also another tribe or another group of people. There are numerous tribes out there that we can just go through all. But I'm sure you've got your fellow, your few tribes out there that you are so familiar with. It could be a red Indian, it could be it could be an Asian, a Chinese, whichever way it is. You do have a culture that you held on to, that you've been brought and you've been probably you're not even familiar with your old cultures that your family probably introduced you or probably did not introduce you to it. But somehow it was something that has naturally been built into them, that they naturally pass it on to you. Now you can discover it, you can find it out. If you dig a little bit further, you can get it. Today we are blessed with records of the past, and so we can go a little bit. So as long as this generation is actually concerned, we can really go back to find out things that has made us be what we are at this moment. So what I'm trying to say is identifying the very source of the problem and bringing it out, to the open. And when I bring it out to the open, what does it do to you? I'm sure it's going to make you realize where the fault is, and when you know where the fault is, you would then have a very good and a positive approach to life. You would then drift away from racist issues. You would drift away from hatred, from anger, because it will not become so necessary. You'll only be annoyed at certain things, and even annoyance will be limited. Your annoyance will be limited to some extent. Because it's naturally something which we can't totally deal with, but we can totally tackle. We can tackle it to the extent that is possible to, and able to generate a very understandable life and peaceful life, understandable life, which will end up having a very peaceful life. You're not going to live your life being aware that, always there is that awareness that something might happen to you, thinking that your enemy is out there, because somehow you've been told there is an enemy. And in actuality, in the truth is there is an enemy there. You probably wouldn't know. But even the tribes that you belong to have already been engaging in these enemy issues. Your whole tribe probably has an enemy that is sort of engaged in for some time, ages ago. So there is this natural instinct that people of this nature normally have issues with people of that nature. And now we obviously have people who have got the moral differences. The moral differences where someone believes that he chooses to have this kind of moral understanding, and the other person chooses to have another moral understanding. The basic way of life is never a factor or a meaning, a strong base by which, or a standard of life for all humanity anymore. Everybody has got his own approach to things, and it has to be embraced. Now, we normally build this thing into the idea of an ultimate power which controls, nor demonstrates or tells us what to do. Now, in your case, I'm not sure whether you believe that there is an ultimate power. Do you believe that there is a source by which we all came about? Or we just out of the blue appeared? Or we just start growing out of the earth like the tree grows out of the earth? I don't know what your views are. But to me, the common sense tells me that we came out of somewhere. That place we came out of is unique. It's unique. It can't easily be discovered by me or by anybody, and has not been discovered. We lost track of that. But the fact that I know myself and I know that person next to me, and I look at all those people, I can tell myself that it is a unique place that we came out of. It is unique because I haven't been able to discover its uniqueness, in a sense that, looking at myself, can I conclude and tell myself where I came from or what texture I'm made up of? No, I can't. I have no clue what texture I'm made up of. I have no clue what texture that neighbor is made up of. And there has been great research going on with men, striving to find out what made us. Where did we come from? Who are we? Is always the question. And that tells me that we haven't discovered it because it is unique. It is unique because it is not something that a man can discover. It's far beyond us. We are far beyond ourselves. We find ourselves very, surprising, and in our uniqueness of thought, in our thoughts of seeing ourselves as unique in certain sense, and not just as animals, everything. There are some things that we share the inhabitant, we are inhabitant with, we share the same area with, that we feel and see that we haven't got a clue how they came about. There are things that we could say, but there are things we can't say. Those things, including ourselves, makes where our source is very unique. Until we discover it and see whether it is not unique or it is unique, we have to stay to accept it as unique, making ourselves very unique. And in our uniqueness, we are bound to sort of preserve that sort of uniqueness and respect that. But that isn't the case. We looked at each other with all kinds of resentment, all kinds of hatred. We haven't got a clue. And we have this hatred among ourselves because we haven't got a clear view or a clear path, by which we stand. Because at the end of the day, the roots has been cut off from us somehow. And if you have no roots, you can't stand. That is the fault that we are having. But where did it happen? How did it happen that we lost our roots? Is it from the unique place that we were brought that is being kept away from us and blinded to the truth? That could easily be the issue. Because no matter how unique I am, if I haven't got access to know where my unique sources are or what made me unique, I can easily stumble and fall, because first, I don't know my left to right, so definitely I will stumble and fall. You can compare that to trees, any other thing, animals or anything. If an animal, if let's say I was born without a father caring or a parental care or a mother care, tell me how possible would I have survived? I wouldn't have survived a day, because I would need breastfeeding